So I had a video request from a Leo Cormick, and that's what today's video is going to be about. I touched on it briefly when I talked about soulmates and twin flames, and Leo asked me to talk about how I met my twin flame and my experience with my twin flame. And I said, why not? I think that would be a good topic to discuss. Some of you are awakening, or I should say many of you are awakening. Many of you may have found a soulmate that resonates so deeply with you. And many of you may have found, or some of you, not many, some of you have found your twin flame or ran into your twin flame. So let's see. My experience with my twin flame was brutal in a way because I wasn't expecting such a deep connection, and I will get into the meaning of that deep connection. So it's roughly 2012, and prior to this, me getting this job as a counselor working with disabled adults, I was in the manufacturing field. I was almost killed on the job. I could no longer work in that field anymore, so I was getting retraining and stuff. And because of my education and my degrees, I kind of fit the bill for this position that they were looking for, a counselor working with disabled adults. And by that, I mean I was working with autistic kids, bipolar, sexually abused, severely cognitive disabled. And I had no experience in that job, but they hired me because of my degrees, and I ended up loving that job. It was a short-lived job, but now I know the reason why. I met my twin flame there. It was a beautiful thing. It was a brutal assault in a way, and a loving assault, but in the same way, it was a brutal assault. So one day, and look at the time, it's 444, angel number, meant to be, right? Guidance, acknowledgement. I'm on the right path. That's 4:44 in the afternoon here on Sunday, so I can feel it. It's an angel number. They're talking, so I'm meant to be doing this. So this is 2012. It's around August. And we were sitting I had been working for a few months, but we had a team meeting. It was on a Saturday morning, all right? And I was sitting at the table along with my other peers and coworkers, and then in walked, I won't use her name, because she's watching these videos. I can feel her. She's spying on me, not spying on me, but watching me. But I won't use her name. Let's just use Lee, okay? And so I look over this way, right? And I was filled with an unbelievable feeling, a feeling that I cannot truly describe to you unless you have met your twin flame. Like an instant, when I mean instant, I'm talking an instant connection. We locked eyes, and she sat down, and she was a little flustered, right? I was married at the time. I didn't know who she was or her situation, but she was, and still is to this day, the most beautiful being. I just looked at her and I was like, what a beautiful woman. No dirty thoughts or anything. Like, get that out of your mind. This was a pure spiritual connection. Now, I didn't have my NDE yet. This is 2012. I didn't have my NDE until 2020, right? So, but I'm feeling a connection like I have never felt before. I didn't know how to explain it. I had no idea what was happening, right? And I would catch her staring at me. And we went through this meeting that they introduced her, and she walked in, and, as a true female would, she kind of put up a snooty little toot, put her nose in the air, like, look at me, And I was just like, yeah, I'm not interested in that little toot that you got going on. But it was an instant connection. And then as she was part of this team now, we saw more and more of each other. So now it's August, So 3 months, it's getting close to December and the holidays and stuff like that. So we're having parties with these, these people, parents are coming in. So we're spending more and more time together as a team and stuff like that. So it was right around Christmas of 2012, we had a Christmas party for, the staff. And she was there. And she kind of, she backed me into the corner, like into the kitchen, away from everybody. And we had an incredible bond, an incredible bond. And she was smiling, and I was feeling things that I had never felt in my life, and I didn't know what was happening. I knew something was happening. I knew something was special, right? And she says, like, you really have 12 kids? They're telling me you have 12 kids. How do you afford that, right? It was just a long-standing joke, because the new clients, when I came into this, were obsessed with me. I was funny, jovial with these guys, and they always wanted to know more about us, but, we weren't allowed. So the other staff was like, he's got 12 kids, he's married, he's a busy guy, so just leave him alone, right? So that was the running joke with Jason, in this job. So it just kind of flooded out with her. So during the Christmas party, she kind of pushed me away from everybody and secluded me. And that was really the initiation of us beginning a very wonderful experience, a relationship, right? A connection. And I'll get more into that in a minute. And as everything was winding down and she was walking out the hallway, as I was watching her walk away, she turned, she had this smile like I'm smiling now, and she walked towards me and she wrote down her number and she goes, "This is between you and I," right? And I was married at the time, okay? And I found out that she was married, all right? And generally the way twin flames meet is you generally meet when you're married, as I've done the research on this. So I didn't think anything of it, a work colleague, but I was fascinated with her. I wanted more. And as I told her, as our relationship built, I said, she's like, "What do you want?" I said, "More." And she's like, "Of what?" I said, "Of you, everything. Your tears, your happiness, your joy. I want more." And that was the best way to describe what I needed from her. And yes, it eventually became a need. So it's now 2012. It's the end of 2012. So the 2013 started, and our relationship began to blossom. We began to spend more and more time together, right? We would, as you would call it in this physical realm, an affair, right? And when I went home in my near-death experience, God did not care. It was very much welcomed by Father. I was holding on to the guilt that I was doing something wrong per, the Catholic Church, being a Christian, or even though I wasn't non-practicing one, that's the real, that's the language that I grew up in. So I felt guilty and ashamed of myself for what I was doing, but I couldn't stop. It was a profound love, a deep love, and I didn't know it at the time because it was beginning, but our relationship began to become deeper and deeper. There was no shenanigans at first, right? I mean, our intimacy did not start for a year. I wouldn't touch her intimately or in a loving way that way. We began to bond on a very intimate level. Like we would discuss things that should have been discussed through our partners, but we weren't getting that at home, right? So we would discuss things that would be very difficult to talk about. And not only did she become my best friend, but she became somebody that I could be intimately involved with in a verbal relationship. And I didn't know what that was at the time. I've never had a connection like this before, but I just knew something was happening to me, and it began to terrify me. I began to get very scared of it. And now we're talking months down the road, and she was like, it's getting towards the end of 2013, and we really would spend time. We would sneak away as often as we could and spend as much time as we could. And again, there was no hugging or kissing, or we'd give each other a hug, and and when we would be talking to each other, the way we looked at each other is like she was peering into my soul when she would, our eye contact, she would just, and I can feel it now, I can feel her. It was a connection that was just like no other. It's so hard to describe and put it into words. But what your twin flame is you found the other half of your consciousness, right? That's literally you. The left side of your brain is your divine masculine, and me being in a male body is my divine masculine, all right? You also have the right side of your brain, which is your divine feminine, all right? Meeting her and knowing this now, it took, a long time to figure this out after my own death, was that is my divine feminine consciousness. I found myself. My true self, all of me. That is why the connection was so deep and so profound. I had found myself truly in Lee, right? I didn't know it at the time, why that connection was so deep, why it was so profound, why I was feeling the way I was. That's because I found myself. It made sense. Everything was like this. The harder I tried to pull away, it was like, no, it was me. I felt complete. That's the word I'm trying to find. I was complete for the first time in my life. And we met, there's 2000, so I was 42 years old when we met, all right, which most twin flames will meet later on in life. Now, she's 12 years younger than me, all right, so she was 29 when I met. And she's in her early 40s now, as I'm 54, right? So she's 42. So that is why that connection was so deep. All right? So now it is 2014. And it was basically coming up on almost a year. So we met in 2013. So now it is now, so it's the August of 2014. So now it is coming up on a year. So now it is June of 2014. And we had a chance to steal away for the weekend for a special event that was coming up. And we did. And that was our very first intimate sexual encounter. And it was mind-blowing. It was amazing. It was deep. It was profound. Tears, right? It was an unbelievable connection. And it only got better. Like I said, this connection was short-lived, but there were ups and downs, but I was never able to communicate the way I did, even though I was fumbling around in the dark because I didn't know how to explain this. I had no idea what was going on. And then I was the first person to run. There's always a runner in a twin flame relationship. Why? Why would you run when you feel so good? Because it's terrifying. When you truly connect with yourself, when you find the other half of your consciousness. And no matter what timeline you're in, whether it's now or 500 BC, you two will meet. You will meet. You will find each other. It's the way you set up your life. No matter where you go, you will find your twin flame. And the reason you meet later on in life is because you have already accomplished what you wanted to accomplish. Say, you went to college, you got a college degree, you got a good job, you got married, you had children, right? You got all of that shit out of the way, okay? And then you will find each other no matter what. Where you are in the world, you will find each other, you will meet, and you will be together. And that is the purpose of your twin flame, is to find yourself, right? And I did. So it got real deep. And I took off. I ran for a couple of weeks. I had no contact with her, nothing. I just whoop. And she tracked me down. She found me and she tracked me down. And I was sitting somewhere and she opened up my car door and she says, "So, how are you?" And again, I was in awe of her. I still am. There's nothing that I would not do for her, nothing. And I've realized since my own divorce in 2015 from my current ex, my first wife has transitioned home years ago, that I don't know how to put this. She just has a way with me, as I do with her. She said many times, "I just want to flip you the double bird and say I'm out, but I can't. I love you unconditionally." And it's because she found herself. She found her divine masculine. And again, it is a terrifying feeling to feel that way, right? Because both of us grew up under Catholicism. She was a Catholic. And she even said, "I'm not a good Christian, and God does not care about your religion." If you go watch any of my first videos that I ever did 4 years ago, with, I can't think of her name, but I said that God doesn't care about your religion. In my very first interview that I did, it was made abundantly clear to me, none of that shit matters here at all, right? So we were also stuck with the language that we knew, which was Catholicism. We were hurting God. We were going against his will. We were going against the religion of Jesus, which, as you all know, is not true. It's what the church made up about Jesus. But I didn't know that at the time, so I'm feeling like a heavy sinner, like this is horrible. I'm hurting Jesus. I'm crushing his very spirit. When in reality, Father's going, "Yay, Jesus, yay," But I didn't know that at the time. I'm fighting myself. I'm fighting, I'm married. I'm fighting all of the social norms that are eating at me. And my higher self is talking to me, like feeling all of this love for this being. And that's what I should have been listening to. And that's where my heart was. Your heart and mind are one. When you're in alignment with love, you feel love. And I was feeling love with my twin flame, right? So I was right where I needed to be. Everything was perfect. I was the one in my own head creating hell, right? From a religion that tells you you're a worthless piece of shit sinner that is unworthy of your Father's love, and you'll be lucky if he even gives you the time of day to go home. And we all know, since my followers, all of you who follow me, say, "No, that's not true. That's not true at all." And I'm telling you that's not true. But I didn't know that at the time, so I'm struggling, okay? I am falling down on my face. I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do. She's doing the same thing. She's beginning to realize that, wow, I'm in way too deep. I thought this was supposed to be fun, but yet when you find your true self, your other half of your consciousness, it is a love that is indescribable. It's just simply indescribable, okay? And right now I feel her. She is going through struggles like the dark night of the soul. She's going to get a divorce. She realized that when she ran from me to go back to a marriage that she did not want to go to, that she did not want to be in, that she messed up. But she's living in fear, right? She's worried about what society's going to think of her, what her family's going to think of her, what her friends are going to think of her. And because of free will, God is not going to come down here and say, "Come on, Lee, come on, get up. You're right. You're supposed to be with him. That's that's the life you created, right? You guys were meant to be together." No. Father's not going to do that. He's going to allow her to sit in her pain and suffer if that's what she chooses, right? So beginning of 2015, she ran, right? And she went back, and we've had very little contact. When she found out that I died, she was my emergency contact, and then she panicked, right? Like, oh my God, the man I truly love is epically dying right now, and there was nothing she could do, right? So could you imagine feeling that kind of love and that kind of need and want from this being, meaning me, and there was nothing she could do about it? She said, I lost 5 pounds. I paced the house back and forth. She said, her husband said, what is your problem? And, she said, I snapped on him, and I refused to eat. I refused to take care of the kids. And that right there, if you would have stopped and listened to yourself, is telling you you don't belong there anymore. You learned what you needed to learn in that relationship. It's time to move on. But societal norms, this shit society that we created, the church, their manipulation, their deceit, their, deception, that sinks in and it weighs heavy. And you get in your mind, you start to create hell. You begin to believe the bullshit. And, she's stuck in her own head, and she's stuck. Well, it's changing now. I feel her. It's coming. Our time together will be at the end of this year, the beginning of next. But getting back to what I was saying is we stole away for the weekend and we made love all weekend. I had to work, but as she was sitting there, it was, a Saturday night, and she was looking at me. We were having a Starbucks, and she was, again, peering into my soul, and the tears started flowing without words. And I said, I know you don't want to let go. You don't want to have to go. And, she goes, how do you know? I'm going to get emotional. It's because I can feel her. Even though she's like 9 miles away, I can feel her. I can feel her suffering. Again, it's a love that is so profound. I can't put it up there next to the near-death experience love, but it is very close. It is very close. And she said, there's nothing I wouldn't do for you. Nothing. How many of you have ever got that from a relationship, from your partner? Very few, if any, right? And again, with me, there's nothing that I would not do for her. Nothing. So we've been, separated for almost going on a decade now. And that isolation is coming to an end. And we will be together. And it's accepted. There's no doubt that it is accepted. God doesn't care. He's not looking that you decided to sign a piece of paper and sign your soul away for all of eternity. That doesn't even make sense, okay? And as I've described to you in past videos and live sessions, that God does not hold us accountable for any of the laws that we have created in this fake dream or world. It does not, except for one: love, right? And our love for one another is profound, right? And that's all that matters. Like I said, when I died and I went home, I did nothing wrong, nothing at all. And the more guilt I felt, the more love was bestowed upon me. And it was instantly taken care of. I have done nothing wrong. I broke no laws, none. And my love for my twin flame, for Lee, was just as beautiful as the love of my own children that I have here. All right? So for some of you who have found a twin flame or have found one, right? And you had a relation, and then more than likely than not, you were married and one of you ran because it was so deep and so profound, it scared the shit out of you. Like it did me at first. I was the first runner. I took off, no contact, no no texting, no nothing. And then she hunted me down and she found me, and it started up again. And then, she's like, I just want to know, I want to take us down to, the foundation of, let's see what we have here, right? I don't want to say I love you anymore. I don't want to say any of this, right? So she was kind of trying to strip all of society away, all of the church away, all of everything, and get down to our true feelings for our true feelings for one another. And I would often catch her saying, all right, have a good night. And then she would stop herself, right? Or when we would see each other, there would be no hugging or kissing, but she would take her feet and grab a hold of my foot and hold my foot and just smile at me and look at me, And that's all that was ever needed. She found the truth. And then, again, she said, one of the last things she said is, you're my safe place. I know I can be myself with you. I don't have to pretend. I don't have to put on a face. I can be me with you. And that's because she found the other half of her consciousness, right? She can be free. She can be herself. Why? She found her divine masculine. And with me, I found my divine feminine. And that is why that connection was instant. Instant. She felt it right away. I felt it right away. And it's unstoppable. It's coming back, right? And we're going to have a beautiful life together. In my mind, we already have a beautiful life together. Our abundant life is already taking place. And she's creating her own suffering right now. And she is suffering. I feel it, right? She's going through this divorce. She's having a very hard time. Things are very uncomfortable for her right now. I will not help her. I will not call her. I will not go over there. I will not pick her up. I will not dust her off. I will not say, I love you. She has to face her fears. She has to face this. This is a challenge that she set for herself, just like me, right? When I had my near-death experience, and in this 4-year journey of gaining more knowledge, meeting archangels, I had to face my fears. I had to go into my past and face the abuse that I took. I had to forgive my parents. I had to relive those beatings. I had to relive it. And I had to relive this last marriage that I had was a very bad one. It was, she was a narcissist. Right? And I was no angel too either, because I became mad and upset and angry and said horrible things. I had to go back into that. And I had to relive those things. I had to relive those very uncomfortable experiences. And I had to forgive my ex-wife. And I love her very much, very much. And I have forgiven her, truly have forgiven her for everything that she has done. And I wish her nothing but the best. Peace, joy, love, abundance, prosperity. I hope she truly enjoys the rest of her life. And I will be there at any point in time that she needs me. If she called and truly said, Jason, I need you, I would be there without question. Why? Because I love her and I forgave her. When Jesus said, love one another, forgive yourself, forgive your neighbor, there is a reason why. Because that neighbor is you, right? You are one with everyone, right? But there is that twin flame connection that is truly yourself, the other half of your consciousness. So it's like, an identical twin being separated at birth. You will find each other. Well, that's what a twin flame is your consciousness is split, right? You're out there doing something else in this realm. I'm out doing something, and trust me, you will find each other. And it will be an amazing thing. It will be a terrifying thing. But when you truly come together and figure it all out, it is a bond like no other. It's an unbreakable bond. I don't care who came here. I don't care if they offered me $500 trillion to separate or to do this or to do that. It would be an instant no. My level of complacency and contentment with and oneness with her is all that I need. She makes me happy on a very intimate level, not only sexually, but also spiritually and also emotionally. On every level, I am complete with her, right? She doesn't completely. She complements me, right? But in a way, it is a completion because it's a unity. So it's a weird thing. So she does complete me by me finding my own, my other half of my own consciousness, and that is why the connection is so deep. We had like just a little over 2 years, and only 1 year of that was on an intimate basis, and it couldn't be a regular intimate basis. It could be when we had time to be with one another. And a lot of that times was at a park or in a car or, out in the open somewhere. And it was fine. It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. So all of you who know that you have run into your twin flame and that either you ran or they ran, it was meant to be. All right? 9 times out of 10, you were married. You have children. You had a life, right? Why is this happening now? Why is this happening to me now? Why couldn't this happen? Because it wasn't meant to happen to you before. What is going on in your life at that time? Even though I was married, I was done with it. I didn't need to be there anymore, right? I was just hanging on because, I can't do this to my kids. They're not your kids. They're God's too, right? They came here to work on themselves. So, again, the Catholic Church, making you feel like an idiot, and keeping you in a low vibrational state. So, I'm feeling all this guilt and shame that was never meant to be there in the first place. So, my higher self and my feelings for her are telling me yes, 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 and then, you get in your head, no, 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 because of what the church taught you and what society thinks that you're doing wrong. Well, again, there is no right or wrong or good or bad. Right? It was simply, you are going to find each other, you are going to meet, and you are going to be together. But you got to figure it out. All right? And that was really it. It was a voyage of discovery. It was meant to be. And we will be together. So all of you that are going through this right now, it could be 1 or 2 of my listeners, it could be nobody, but it could be someone that will run into this video 2 weeks from now, 2 years from now, who knows, that will go, oh my God, right? So don't look at what you think you're doing wrong. Remember what I said, when you are in alignment with your true self, heart and mind are one, that means you're being connected to home, right? You're listening to your true self. And if it was wrong, then you would be feeling mad, pissed off, angry, sad, right? Out of alignment with love. But it's not. You're in alignment with love. And when I'm with her, I am in uber amounts of love. My body's tingling. Her touch to me sends shock waves of electricity coursing through every part of my body, right? In a loving way. I am in alignment with love. If it was truly wrong, then why am I feeling that way? Okay? That is the church getting in the way. That is the society that we set up, which we have set up completely bass-ackwards, right? God is going, yay, yay. All right, keep going, keep this going. And then we let life in the physical realm get in the way. We let our thoughts create our reality, and then we end up splitting apart. I had a lot of work to do. I had to die, right? I had to find myself. I had to get on the right track to where I'm going and what I'm going to be doing in this physical world. And I'm now 54 years old. It happened when I was 50, right? It's taken me 4 years, but now I am on the course that I was meant to be on. And my career change is coming to be a public speaker, a teacher of spirituality and of who we are and what we are, right? And if I would have listened to people way back when I was in, grade school and high school to become a teacher, well, I guess I would have saved myself a lot of trouble, including death. But, you know, hell, you know, I chose to live in darkness. I chose to live in the pain and suffering, right? I chose it. Free will. I chose to live in the abuse. I chose the anger, the hate, the rage. And I created a life of non-abundance, of scarcity, of poverty, right? I'd have bits and pieces of, oh, this is great, and then back into the bottom of the basement, right? That was because my thoughts create my reality. I felt unworthy of being with my twin flame. Therefore, am I with my twin flame? Nope. Your thoughts create your reality, ladies and gentlemen. Change your thoughts. Get out of your head. Your heart, look at it this way, all right? And this is a great way to look at it. I read this, or somebody messaged me about it, and it makes perfect sense. Your heart is home, or heaven. Heaven doesn't exist. It's where we come from, home, right? Your heart is home. Your head is hell. How many of you are thinking negative thoughts? I'm stuck. I can't pay my rent. I can't pay my bills. And the wheels on the bus go round and round, and you keep attracting that negative energy. You're creating hell, right? Your thoughts create your reality. I felt unworthy my whole life. God hated me. God did not love me. I was doomed to hell. So I created a shitty life for myself, right? A non-abundant life. But as I was sitting here over the weekend and as I was crying, I was like, I truly had a beautiful life. I chose the pain. I chose the suffering. I chose the hate, the anger, the rage. All low vibration, low energy. And that's all that was going to come to me. And now I think abundant. I think of extreme wealth. I think of my twin flame. We're together already. I'm already envisioning the life that I'm going to be living, and I will be living it soon. This is over that I'm in, right? So my twin flame is going through that. So I cannot help her with that. That is her struggle. That is something that she has to do. She has to face those fears. She has to stand up and say, no, I want to be happy. I have the right to be happy. Father wants me to be happy. And he's okay with that. And he most assuredly is. So all of you who are listening, that are in a relationship that may be unhealthy, it's time to move on. You learned what you needed to learn. Move on. It doesn't matter if you have children or not. Doesn't. Do not fall in love with this materialistic world. It will bring you ruin. Don't worry about your house. Don't worry about the car. If the other half of you or your spouse want, give it all to him. He gets to give you half monetarily wise. Move on. Move. Leave. Go. Your children signed up for this when they chose to be in your life. They know what's taking place. They chose to forget. All right? And I've made perfect peace with that. Even my youngest now says, Dad, I know why you got a divorce. I understand it completely well. All I needed. I forgave myself a long time ago, right? But she understands. And we have a beautiful, healthy, loving relationship. Leave. Go find your happiness, no matter what it is. Become a gardener, become a painter, become a poet, become a counselor, a guidance counselor, whatever you want to do. Find your true self. Find your partner. Find your happiness. And some of you will run into your twin flame. Some of you are going through this right now. It's a beautiful journey, but it's also a terrifying journey because you are truly finding the other half of yourself. And when you merge, it is an unbelievable feeling, man. I am telling you, I know it's going to be weird, but you'll feel it in your butthole. I mean, you'll feel that and you're like, oh, you know? And it's just that unbelievable connection and journey of finding yourself. And that is what my experience with my twin flame truly was, finding myself, right? And as she watches these videos, as she's, spying on me, she's realizing the same thing, right? And she's got to take that step. She's got to stand up and say, no, we're done. And that is happening. That's what's going on, right? So our timing is coming very soon where she will reach out to me, and then it will begin again. But this time it'll be solidified. There will be no more running. There will be no more hiding. It will be the golden years of my life and hers, right? I love her children because they are a part of her, and I've met them. I love them, and she loves my babies. So it's already done. We're already together. And that is my story with my twin flame. I mean, I could get into more details, but that was basically it. That guilt and shame that I felt of being married now, that's all gone. God doesn't care about marriage. It means nothing. Jesus didn't care. Jesus did not want to get married. He saw no purpose in it. But societal norms pressured him into doing it. He loved his wife, Mary, unconditionally. He didn't see the need to be tied or whatever the Jews go through, didn't care. And to this day, even at home, because both are at home now, they never incarnate again. They've both become enlightened. And the only difference between their relationship, it is no longer physical. They can no longer touch each other. There will be no more hugging, kissing, having babies, right? No more lovemaking. And they miss it. They both miss it. And I'm encouraging all of you to live your life in the here and now, right now. Love it, no matter what you're doing. If you're not happy, fix it right now. Job, career, family, whatever it is, your location, fix it. And it's hard because we're stuck with the money, right? We're stuck with this. Start to change your mind. Start to change your thinking of, I can't do this, to I can do this. It's already done. I'm in abundance, right? So start that and live your life. And that is what and why my twin flame is returning, is because I've already told her we're together. And she feels it. She's going through the same thing. So with that being said, that is my story on my twin flame. My experience with her, our love, our divine love, and why it feels so good and why it's so right. And that was really it. So if you guys have any more topics that you want me to discover, it could be more personal stuff with me if you want that, put it out in the comments. I love you guys. I do these for you. I mean, I know all of this stuff, and it keeps coming, it keeps changing. I am probably going to do another video because I did come into some other information about this 5D ascension. So maybe I'll do another video on that next week and clarify some more things because I do feel that that is very important. But put your topics down there. I can't get to you right away because every morning I wake up with like 50 to 80 emails, and I got to go to work. I come home, I'm tired, all those good things, life gets in the way, but I do my best to keep up on top of you guys. I love you so very much. This Friday, I'll be going live Friday night. So all of you watching this, I'll be on Friday night, 7 o'clock Central Time. So wherever you are, make plans. I will be on. Come with your questions. Another question and answer with Love and Light, Jason. I love you all so very much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I will see you again soon. Bye, guys.